Delicious Cajun pork loin. I'm going to start off with an empty Glad bag, and I'm going to cut the pork loin out of its container. Now, this particular container has 4 pork loins. You can use this for pork chops, pork loin, pork tenderloin. It's just goes good with pork. I'm going to throw those 4 pieces in a Ziploc bag, and I'm going to put the sauces in. I know some people say, hey, you got to take the fat off, but I'm just going to leave it on for this particular case. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to crack open some olive oil. Next, I'm going to do some Spanish smoked paprika. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of that. You can use regular paprika if you choose to, but I find the smokiness gives it a little bit of heat. I'm going to follow that up with some cumin. I'm going to do a half a teaspoon worth of cumin. This is a peppercorn medley. You can use peppercorn medley or black pepper, but a half a teaspoon on that. I prefer the fresh peppercorn taste than just the flat black pepper that you can get from the store. I'm going to do about half a teaspoon worth of that. Now I'm going to do some sea salt. You can use regular salt if you choose to. It's going to be half a teaspoon as well. Or you can just use regular iodized salt. This unlabeled is a cayenne pepper. Another half a teaspoon worth. Well, 1/4 or half a teaspoon, depending on how much heat you want on it. And then this is going to be my sage, and I'm going to do another half a teaspoon of sage. Next up, you put in the chili powder. The chili powder is going to add a different layer of complexity to the heat. You have your smoked paprika that's going to be a low heat, the cayenne that's a hot heat, and then the chili powder that should be the medium heat in between. And we're going to do about a half a teaspoon worth of that as well. Okay, once you get it in the bag, you want to get all the air out the bag, and then you want to seal it. And you're going to massage that into the meat. Once it's been massaged into the meat thoroughly, you can go ahead and set that bag aside for 30 minutes for it to just soak in all of those spices. After 30 minutes, you want to throw it in the oven for about 35 to 40 minutes. Check it every once in a while because depending on the thickness of the meat is how long it needs to cook. Alright, so I'm going to take one meal prep pan and I'm going to grab some of that rice that I made a little bit earlier and I'm going to just spoon it in there. In this particular case, I'm just going to push it off to the corner because I'm not going to put a lot of rice in there because I want the meat to sit out there. But as you can see, the meat takes a very beautiful color and it has a nice bit of spice on the outside of it. This should make about 4 containers worth of pork loin with rice. Now, granted, the rice I use is also the same rice that we used for the jerk chicken. But like I said on a earlier video, that this is supposed to be meal prep menu. So what I'm basically showing you is that with these 4 pieces of pork loin plus the pack of rice, you can make the jerk chicken nuggets, you can make the pork loin, and still have enough left over to fill other containers. But there we go. We got everything done here. We've got one last pork loin to be put into its container. And as you can see, they, for the most part, fit in meal prep containers without any issues. And I'm not going to weigh them out. I'm just going to put in enough rice to accompany it. There was a little extra rice, so I just finished them off. But there we go, 4 pork loins with rice.